Good morning, everyone. Can we all hear me at the back okay? Great. I can't see you because the lights are in my eyes, but I'll pretend you're not asleep. So just a quick introduction to myself. My name is Daniel Kendall. I'm one of the senior systems engineers at Fortinet. Predominantly on a day-to-day, I work with a number of key customers within the central government organisation in the UK. But I'm quite lucky in that I get to attend these events and I get to meet numerous different people from different organisations across the wider set of the ecosystem. So just a quick show of hands, who here has heard of SASE as a concept? Brilliant, okay. More than I thought there would be, actually, interestingly. So it's a relatively new concept, and actually, if you look at the marketing for this concept, it is very different depending on who is marketing at you at the time. But before I go into kind of the definitions of what SASE is, let me just kind of frame the conversation on why SASE potentially could be the way that organizations are moving to protect their distributed edge, their users, their services, their applications, and importantly, the data that they're holding. There are four kind of key trends at the moment in UK PLC, and I think especially since COVID, we've seen these trends almost converge. No matter the sector, no matter the vertical, no matter the customer, we are all having the same challenges. And those challenges are primarily driven by the explosion in hybrid working. Yes, there are some verticals that are operating return to office, but generally speaking, I don't think we're ever going to see the level of working in the office of 5 days a week, the commuting, especially if the M62 is closed constantly, that we're always going to have that we had pre-COVID. But this explosion in the hybrid workforce has driven some other key kind of digital transformation or technical transformation aspects. The first one being a move to the option of SaaS services. So, how many people here were using Teams pre-COVID? Probably not many, and I reckon pretty much everyone in this room now does use Teams or Slack or Discord or another way of communicating with your colleagues across the ecosystem. So this explosion in SaaS services has meant that our data has moved away from our walled gardens. It's moved away from our data centers. It's moved away from our on-prem storage. And in order to access that data, we're having to deploy VPNs. And we're deploying those VPNs. We're authorizing our users on there, but if the MGM hack is anything to be seen, not all VPN security is foolproof, right? Simple social engineering attack, and that's taken down an organization that's costing them somewhere between $4.5 and $6.5 million a day, and they're still not back from what I've read. So in order to better secure our remote access capability, we're adopting a zero trust architecture. So that could be zero trust network access, it could be least trust or least privilege, but we're moving in the direction of having to check absolutely every aspect of data that comes into our environment and making sure that it's known good. And if it's not known good, we need something to do with it. But in order to facilitate all of this, and again, driven in slight by the fallout of COVID, we had a vendor explosion, right? So the average number of vendors an organization has in their security ecosystem, just a security ecosystem, is around 75 different point vendors. So you can imagine from a skills gap perspective, you can imagine from a capabilities perspective, it's very hard to understand all of those products to the nth degree and to be able to use all of those products and marry up the data that's flowing between them. So a lot of organizations are now pursuing a vendor consolidation strategy. So what challenges has this all presented? So all of these trends have presented these three major challenges. For you and me, in order to work, we typically are going to leverage our own methodologies of being able to share or access data. If there's not an easy way for you to share data with external customers, you might decide just to open a Dropbox and put some stuff there. Now for you, as a non-IT person, or for a colleague as a non-IT person or a non-security person, that might be fine. It's a way of doing the job. But from an IT perspective, it's a nightmare. Where's that data? Who has access to that data? How do I make sure that data has not been tampered with? This massive explosion in shadow IT by over 83% over the last couple of years. And some organizations, some large enterprises, UK public sector is a great example, some of them have nearly 1,000 unknown applications in their stack. You can even imagine how you even begin looking at those and understanding what they're doing and how they're operating. But all of this explosion in shadow IT, this explosion in different point products is causing us two problems. It's causing us a lack of visibility, is causing us an inconsistent security because we have these major security gaps. We don't have the skills and we don't have the integration between the products and services outside of a SIEM service that's just spitting out of alerts to be able to actually understand very quickly and remediate something as it happens. And all the while, the amount of ransomware dwell time that's within an environment, the actual time it takes for them to gain access, to gain foothold and start exfiltrating data was, I think, pre-COVID, a matter of days. We're now talking a matter of minutes before someone has gained access to your system and is starting to exfiltrate data. So, a quick definition of SASE. Secure Access Service Edge, as it's formally known, is essentially a convergence of two products or two methods of working. The first one being SD-WAN. So I think a lot of us here understand SD-WAN, where it's the idea of application-centric routing, so the ability to run business continuity, disaster recovery on an application basis very, very easily, very, very quickly, but giving you visibility from the site all the way up to the application or the cloud service. And then it's the combination of Secure Access Service Edge. So those are your cloud-hosted security solutions. There are pure players out there. There are new entrants to the market. Microsoft, for example, have launched theirs recently. So the combination of SD-WAN and SSE from the security perspective is what delivers a Secure Access Service Edge. And Secure Access Service Edge is not a product, although there are product names. Fortinet has one, FortiSASE. It's a concept of its own right. But the idea of SASE can still breed some challenges. And these challenges are very much the ones that we've just highlighted. We are still relying, in a lot of cases, on multiple products and services, and we're still relying on some form of integration between them, whether that's a product we've deployed or managed, or whether that's a managed service provider who's doing that for us. The concept here is that whilst we're able to reduce a lot of our point products in the SSE space, which has been going on for a number of years now, from the likes of Zero Trust, SWG, all the way down into one cloud-delivered solution, the inclusion of SD-WAN still gives you a second point product. So whilst we're reducing and we're doing something, we're being really proactive and forward here, one of the things we're still struggling to do is actually really see that end-to-end visibility of that user journey, of that traffic that's going from the endpoint all the way to the application or cloud service. And this obviously breeds complexity. From a procurement perspective, a SASE methodology actually proves to be quite challenging because procurement are typically procuring the network and the security in two different aspects. So we've seen these a number of times actually very recently of organizations coming out for procurements and they want to buy a SASE service, but what they're doing is they're actually doing it in three different types of procurement and it's leading to three different vendors that don't necessarily integrate with one another, which is causing its own issues. So from a procurement perspective, the idea of a SASE solution can actually be quite challenging. So Gartner came up with this wonderful term, as Gartner does, because that's their job, called single vendor SASE. So this is the idea of true vendor consolidation, where one integrated product delivers not just the networking visibility from the end user all the way up to the application, gives you that business continuity, gives you that disaster recovery capability, but also includes the SSE functionality. So it includes all of your Zero Trust, it includes your secure web gateway, it includes your web filtering, your application control, your antivirus, your EPP. The thing what we're seeing here is that all of this then runs up into one management platform, one overviewing capability for your organization to train and organize staff to understand how the network works, how the security works. So from a cybersecurity skills gap perspective, this is actually a fantastic idea, I think, because it allows us to provide training on one product and one service. It allows us to recruit for one product and one service, which means that from a capabilities perspective, we are able to do a lot more with just one thing. And that level of native integration means that we're able to see and action a lot more, no matter where it's been detected, because if it's been detected at the endpoint, well, the endpoint rolls into the same reporting platform as the network, as the firewalling, as the remediation capability. So we're able to see that holistically, the holistic side of things. Now, is that true single vendor SASE platform there yet? No, but the rate of change, the pace of change is extremely significant. I don't think I've ever seen a framework or a set of product sets from any vendor that is changing and increasing capability so quickly as SASE capability is. So how does Fortinet deploy this? Well, Fortinet's actually in quite a unique situation in that we're at heart a cybersecurity company. We're one of the world's largest, right? We have a team of over 450 threat analysts that are analyzing, with the help of machine learning and AI, the multi-billion threats a day, and we're publishing those threats and giving those threats out to our alliance partners and our customers for them to be able to action and automatically remediate against. So we already have the security capability from the SWG side, from the SSE side, as a best-of-breed solution. But we're marrying that up with the SD-WAN side. Now, for those of you who don't know, Fortinet SD-WAN is Gartner Magic Quadrant leading. We have the highest ability to execute, and we have had now for a number of years in that Magic Quadrant. So by bringing these two services together and giving you one management platform and one reporting platform, we truly are able to deliver a complete security solution across that disparate edge. So if we talk about any kind of particular use case, remote users, we've been doing remote user VPN for years, while we're now migrating that to a zero trust model that doesn't rely on SSL or VPN, for example. And we're leveraging the FortiGates and the natural capabilities of the FortiGates to be able to give users direct access to internal and external applications right where those applications are, rather than having to funnel them all via a cloud service and then proxy them out. So we can give some real flexibility and granularity there for our remote users. For our micro branch and our thin branch, we're unique in the fact that we have a LAN service. So we can actually deliver secure network connectivity to the micro branch directly to an access point or a switch that users then connect to and have seamless access out to the internet via SD-WAN, again, without the need to actually hit any security platform, because we're able to proxy this directly, leveraging the native integration of the solution. So from a business outcome perspective, hopefully it's come across in what I've been saying, but from a business outcomes perspective, by having this ability to secure our users no matter where they are, by having that ability to secure our sites, as well as deliver an industry-leading network visibility capability directly into the same management platform, we're massively overcoming these security gaps because we can see everything. We can see everything, no matter where it is, whether it's off network, on network, abroad, on site, we can see where they're connecting from, and we can make decisions on where they're connecting from if they're allowed to connect and consume services. So for those of you that have PII data that you only want access for users that are in particular sites or their home addresses, we can deliver that level of visibility and security via this methodology, this solution that's put forward. But by being able to see that user journey right from the endpoint, whether they're off-net or on-net or in-site or somewhere else, we can see that journey the exact same way with the exact same level of information all the way through. Things like digital experience monitoring from both the site and the user. So it allows us to be able to, from a support perspective, be very, very quick to understand exactly what our customers need, or internal customers need, and be able to action those very, very quickly. So let's say, for example, how many people here work in support and have someone constantly come in and say, internet doesn't work? And that's the ticket, right? There's no additional information, no troubleshooting, internet doesn't work. So then it's up to you to understand, okay, where even are they? First off, and then what do I do about that? We can access that user's information, we can see the DEM statistics, and we can see, actually, yeah, he's on site A, and his time to connect to that particular AP is 25, 30, 60 milliseconds. So yeah, he probably is seeing an issue, and it's this time to connect to the AP. So I'll reboot that AP, and we'll see if that solves the issue. And we can see that very, very quickly. So it's not just about securing a disparate edge, because you can put 1 billion security tools in there, and if MGM's anything to go by, you could have the world's largest security budget, but you are still potentially going to get hit. By bringing in other capabilities into the security solution, like network level visibility, reduction in operational overhead, and operational efficiency, we're able to demonstrate to our business a much better return on investment, a much better user experience, a quality of user experience, which naturally endears them to provide you with more money to be able to go out and to be able to recruit the people you need in order to have, and the tools you need from a training perspective, in order to detect and mitigate against the things that potentially traditional security tools won't pick up, like your traditional social engineering attack. How am I doing for time? No? Bit late, okay. Well, that's a good thing, because that's the end. So thank you, everyone. I'm acutely aware that it's coffee and cake time, so I'll leave you to it. As just out the door there on the right is our stand. If there's any questions or you want to chat, please feel free to come and say hello. Thank you.
Super.